When I looked at it the first time, I thought, I don't really recognize me. But when I was just showing it to you just then, there was an angle where I actually did see my face as almost in a mirror. That was certainly quite close to the younger me, the much younger me.
Okay, people, welcome back to another Fwoosh Weekly. As always, I'm Robo, and it is definitely summertime. It's hot, it's humid. Here in Arkansas, we're hitting 100 degrees plus, and I just don't want to go outside. In fact, there's parts of my house I don't want to go to because I'm walking along and... oh, man, it must be hot outside. Damn! But you know what sticky, sweaty summer means? Sticky, sweaty toys. That doesn't sound right. Yeah, with shutdown and everybody doing live streams, it's been a steady stream for the past couple of years. It just seems to be a never-ending barrage of new announcements, but like we've talked about several times over the past month or so, I just hit puberty. There's a different feeling during summer. It's mostly because of San Diego Comic-Con, and that's right around the corner. People announcing exclusives and the parties they're going to have to show off new action figures. It's the most wonderful time of the year. Besides, you know, Toy Fair and Black Friday. Because, ooh, deals. Where am I going with this? Anyway, let's jump into it. Let's start off by going back to last week where I talked about the Unparalleled Universe's Odious Kickstarter. At the time I recorded that episode, Wade had told me that he was thinking about taking the naked base body and making it an actual tier in the campaign, not some kind of stretch goal. Then he actually went and did it that night before the weekly went live on YouTube. So I end up sounding like an idiot because, this is the info I have, and it's already wrong by the time you watch this. Made me look like a fool, like I don't know what I'm talking about. But that's not really out of my wheelhouse, is it? I'm Robo. I don't know things. It's no different than half the other toy lines I talk about, so why would this be any different? So if you are waiting for a cheaper option, here you go. Wade's naked, hairy plaything that you can just put in the palm of your hand. I've got to knock this off. Stop it. Stop it. Something else we've already talked about is the Jada Toys General Mills Cereal Monsters Booberry. It was announced a few weeks ago that this would be a San Diego Comic-Con and retailer exclusive, but at the time, we didn't know what that meant. Was it some retailers? Was it one retailer? Was it all the retailers? And come to find out, it's Entertainment Earth. Makes sense. They usually have a fairly elaborate booth at SDCC where they're selling their exclusives and other people's exclusives. This fits that bill. But it being Entertainment Earth, you can go on their website right now and pre-order it. You don't have to worry about finishing out your core cereal monsters. And I've rambled about this several times where my personal group of monsters is Booberry and Count Chocula and Frankenberry. That's it. That's the ones I remember the most. But now that I'm finishing that group, I sure would like a Fruit Brute and a Yummy Mummy and even Carmella Creeper. She's brand new. It won't break my heart if they don't get made, but I guess it's the finality of it. It's like, now that I have these and they're in the display, I sure would like to add to it. That will be my shelf. I don't know why I'm pointing over there. It may be over there or over there. I haven't decided yet, but I will be happy. But we could always be happier, you know? There's just... Speaking of San Diego Comic-Con / Entertainment Earth exclusives, McFarlane Toys announced their Gold Label Sketch Edition Spawn with Throne. And, like I always say, this style, I'm a sucker for it. Not enough to actually throw my money down, but I sure love looking at pictures of them. It's the paint style, that heavy line art, the shadows, the stark contrast between black and white. It just does something for me. It's striking, but more than that, it's a cool variant and an excellent choice for an exclusive like this because it's not necessary. It's something different to make it special, but you don't really need it if you're collecting the line for the characters, you know? It doesn't fit in with the rest of the series. And again, I'm pointing over there, but I don't have any spawns over there. Oh, I do have the Mortal Kombat spawn sitting right there. But if you're in it for the collectability, the gotta catch 'em all, here you go. Or there you were. Because this was a limited run of 3,000. And notice the was because it's already sold out. To take all that a step further, there was also an autograph series where Todd signed the cards. That was limited to 500 pieces and I didn't even see it in stock. It was gone. So why am I even talking about these? Because they're cool, sexy. But that is not all from the offices that Todd built. There's also some DC Multiverse news. As far as actual pre-orders go, Target posted up their exclusive gold label Blue Beetle, and at first glance, to someone like me who jumped into DC later in life, I was like, okay, didn't we already get that? But throwing them side by side, the colors are a bit brighter on the new one, the costume design on the upper torso and shoulders is different, and the head is a completely new sculpt. It's more serious, and the goggles have some sharper angles than the bubbly, bouncy head. It also comes with more hands and a scarab that weren't included with that original release. I'm guessing they're two different eras, or artists, or storylines, or comics. You like how I'm leaving this broad and vague, so I can be slightly right in some capacity. I'm also guessing this exists because of the Blue Beetle movie. Just name alone riding in on the hype of that. Or maybe Ted is featured there. I don't know. I haven't seen anything about Blue Beetle. Plus, it gives a major retailer an exclusive so they can bring in more foot traffic. Everybody's happy. Yay, business. Same time, it gives the old school crowd something to grab among the Jaime releases. So again, everybody's happy, right? Everybody is happy! For announcements of future product, Action Comics #1 Superman will kick off McFarlane's Collector's Edition line. This looks okay. The head is definitely better than the Supermans we looked at last week, but you get to the body, and I don't picture this era of Superman that big and bulky, plus the costume lines on there modernize it a bit. When you call something Action Comics #1 Superman, you gotta commit. I do like the colors, though, so there is that. Then there's Abyss, who is apparently a newer Batman villain. I've never seen this before, but I like the design. And it's right in McFarlane's wheelhouse, so it looks good in this action figure form. Are the eye things on some kind of screen? He's an abyss of sound. He doesn't say anything. His personality's conveyed through emojis, flashed up here, Robo don't know. Then there's also Alan Scott Green Lantern, and oh, I was just talking about modern costumes playing to McFarlane's strengths, but this looks good. We knew this was coming because of the Dread Lantern solicit. Was that solicited, or was that just announced? Are they doing both at the same time? No, this is a different line, but that's gonna be somewhere. Just look at this. He's got me speechless. No officially announced release info yet. See what I did there? But again, it being summer con season, I don't think we'll be waiting very long to find out what's going on. While we're talking DC, it seems Bandai doesn't release a lot of DC characters these days. I think there's been like 3 or 4 in the past few years. So it kind of surprised me when they posted promo pictures of the Flash Michael Keaton Batman. That surprise didn't last long because I realized, oh, it's Batman. We're a company that likes to make money. What should we do? Release a Batman. I'm surprised they didn't lead off with The Flash, but at the same time,
I'm Batman.
And now here is where my lack of knowledge kicks in, because I never got the S.H. Figuarts 89 Batman. I don't know how that turned out. From what I remember, it seemed like people had a problem with the size, maybe the engineering, the cape was really stiff and this one has a cloth cape, so maybe it's better. They seem to be improving in that department as time goes on. Second, I haven't seen Flash. I don't know every nook and cranny of this costume yet, so I can't speak on the accuracy here. It looks good and kind of matches my mental image of a more modern 89 Batman costume. The panel lines, the all-black belt. I'm liking that, but I don't know if I'm liking it. You know what I mean? There are a couple of nitpickies, though. The unmasked head, it's passable. It's recognizable within the context of the presentation. How is that for diplomatic? I'm thinking it's going to be one of those situations where we got to get it in hand, see it under regular lights, because it may be better that way. Or it might be worse. That's just an accessory, though, an extra, an option. What bugs me more is the skin tone showing through the cowl eye holes in all the pictures. That's just wrong. Wrong, wrong, Wrong. Unless there's a scene in the movie where he doesn't put on the makeup before putting the cowl on and it looks like this. Otherwise, wrong. But there is a glimmer of hope. Like I said, all the main promo pictures has the skin showing. But the one picture that links to more information, it doesn't. It's blacked out. They had to have touched this up after the fact because this picture is just a cropped version of this picture. Let's compare further. Enhance. Yes. Yes. Enhance. Yep. Same shot. So maybe they realized their huge mistake right after posting the pictures, altered one, but left the rest because I guess they had already gotten out there. Maybe we'll see an update at some point before this actually goes up for pre-order because that's not till next week. Or maybe they'll just roll with it. You never know. It is Indiana Jones week. That was terrible. I'm sorry. That sounded better in my head. New movie this weekend, so all the toy companies are coming out to play. Like Mezco, who solicited their 1/12 collective Indiana Jones Temple Edition. This seems to be focused squarely on the first of the first movie, you know, when he was in the temple. See, he's got the spider web overlay from when he was in the temple, and when the darts shot into the torch in the temple. He had a bag of sand in the temple that he used on the golden idol with the pedestal in the temple. Have I annoyed the hell out of you yet? Because I've just destroyed the word temple. I say temple and it's not right in my head. What the hell's a temple? The boulder is not included though, so you're gonna have to find a big round rock on your own time. Overall, this is exactly what I picture when you put the words Mezco and 1/12 and collective and Indiana Jones together. And yeah, that includes the likenesses on the various heads. That's just Mezco's house style. It's recognizable, but not quite, like it's done on purpose. It's hardly worth bringing up at this point. It's expected. It's like going, man, I sure love that Mezco 1/12 collective, but I wish they would knock it off with the soft goods. I mean, really. It's what they do. I do find it odd that every single promo image uses the same head, the one shown with the hat on in the accessory rundown. That had me thinking, well, that head has the hat and the rest don't. But then you go to the description and it lists the fedora as separate, so you can put them on the other heads. I just don't know why they didn't. Oh, and there's also the price of $130, but that pedestal for the golden idol is polystone, and that always seems to jack the tag up. I was gonna make a joke about the idol being real gold and that adding to the price, but I'm not gonna because some people don't catch on when I'm joking. I guess I'm just that good at it. But I don't want people coming back later and going, I got my Indiana Jones and it's not real gold. Robo said it was and he lied. What an asshole. I probably shouldn't have even said that because some people will cut off right as I say real gold and miss the joke part. I'm a glutton for punishment. Did I just mention that it's Indiana Jones week? Except where it was kind of a surprise that Mezco did their own Indiana Jones, we fully expected Hasbro to post up new Adventure Series figures. Up for pre-order this week is Indiana Jones, Henry Jones Sr., Dr. Elsa Schneider, and the Grail Knot, all from The Last Crusade. That's along with Ronaldo and Dr. Jürgen Voller from Dial of Destiny. All nice additions to the collection, although I have no connection whatsoever to Voller and Ronaldo. I haven't seen the movie yet. What do you expect? In fact, I saw the figure of Ronaldo before learning that it's Antonio Banderas. And I didn't make that connection beforehand looking at the pictures, but now that I know that, my brain clicks in and I can see it from certain angles. You know, like from the intro, he was looking at himself and was still like, well, no. Oh, there it is. Like we've talked about before, the advantage Hasbro has over other companies is character selection. Yes, the Figuarts is nice, and the Mezco looks good, and Hot Toys is gonna Hot Toys, but are they gonna go as deep as the Hasbro Adventure Series? Here, you're building a world. You're filling the shelves with all kinds of different personalities. But also, as we've talked about before, it gets very person in clothes. New from Hasbro, dude in suit to either team up or fight against dudes in suits. And look, woman in outfit squares off against man in outfit. And I get it, that's the franchise. It's very real world with some fantasy elements. It's made to make you think that that could actually happen. even the magical parts. And the figures do an excellent job of translating that into plastic form. But besides the Grail Knot, it's very par for the course, I guess. I think part of the problem is there's not a lot of bad guys. There's villains, but most of those just add to the suits and the clothes. Where's the German soldiers, or the mechanic, or Mola Ram, who is a villain, but his look would definitely break up the sea of gray and brown. And I've seen the speculation floating around the socials, and I get it, but at the same time, all of these movies are available on Disney Plus for everyone to see, so they can't be that worried about it. But who knows, maybe they'll pop up later. The other speculation is that this is it. Sometime last year they said 25 figures planned. I think this gets us around 25, so people are like, oh, well, there's no pipelines, this is it. But if the movie does well, the figures do well, there's money to be made, it'd be silly not to come back around, right? Despite all that, it's still a good-looking Indiana Jones collection. For Hasbro Marvel Legends, pre-orders opened up for the Squadron Supreme, Nighthawk, and Blur 2-pack, but we already had the full photo spread for these, so there's nothing really surprising. So, a link is in the description. Dan did come back and say that they're hoping to finish off the team faster than we think. He thinks. So come on, Power Princess. But since this set is really nothing new, although they look fantastic, I want to finish out this team, I'm going to hop back to last week's Secret Invasion Nick Fury and Talos, because those were revealed as I was recording. I didn't get to fine-tooth comb them. Although I don't really have anything different to say about Nick Fury. I'm liking the show. I'm liking him in the show. I like this look. This will probably be my main Nick Fury figure on the shelf. But for Talos, it's a lot more reuse than I realized. I don't have the Disney Plus Hawkeye, so I didn't recognize the legs, and it's the same for Jimmy Woo with the jacket overlay and arms. The torso is new, I think, though. I think. Saying that, it still works for what I want it for. I still want multiples of this. It's a good-looking civilian body, it's got extra scroll parts, and it's a probable Star Wars Krennic head replacement. Because I am, let's call it 75% sure that this is the actual Star Wars Black Series Krennic head sculpt. It matches younger Ben Mendelsohn with the tighter Imperial haircut, way more than it does his current Marvel longer tousled hairstyle. The expression, the features, I think it's just updated photo real with some age lines added to the forehead. Plus, a lot of you reminded me that the Hasbro MCU figures run closer to 1/12 scale than the comic characters, which falls in line with Hasbro Star Wars Black Series. So, maybe? Or maybe I'm just wishing upon a Star Wars head sculpt. Come on, baby! Time will tell. I'm waiting. I'm seeing. It is the last week of Yojo June, so you know there's some Hasbro G.I.Joe Classified Series news to talk about, like the Crimson Viper. It's a Viper in Crimson. Really, the Crimson faction is getting all kinds of troopers. I think this is all of them. No, they don't. Have they done a regular Cobra Trooper in red? Either way, it's easy army builder reuse. It makes sense from a toy company standpoint, and it makes for an impressive group of soldiers for your G.I. Joes to mow through. Or the other way around, depending on how you play. Then there's Nunchuck. I have no clue who Nunchuck is. Robo wasn't really a G.I. Joe kid, but he watched the cartoon and had a few of the figures. So the later Ninja Force type stuff, right over my head. And while I really like the green camo on the Storm Shadow body with some new overlays and parts and pieces and weapons, I unfortunately have to pass on this one for the time being. Hey, you gotta work within your means. There's nothing wrong with passing on toys. There's nothing wrong with an incomplete collection. You gotta go with your personal preferences, your situation, your budget. But I may swing around on a light month, or if I become a super fan of Ralph the Ninja, for some reason, some media or some story, or Lenny pops off with one sentence and I'm like, oh, yeah, those claws are amazing. Hard to pass on a Firefly that looks this good, though. So classic, it hurts, which isn't everyone's cup of tea, but it is changed up just enough to make me love it, because that's the style I like. It's recognizable, it's familiar, it's a bit nostalgic, but it's brought forward in time. In places. This, not as much as other figures, but... Because it's one of those main characters that's already seen plastic. We saw a super modernized version. And with that, if you have both, if you don't like, you can swap. Change out, take that crazy looking, I'm gonna blow stuff up head, put it on here, see what happens. In fact, this is kind of balancing the scales. Super modern, super classic. And ain't nobody stopping you from doing whatever you want with your own toys. Whoa, 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 whoa! Is this a little Star Wars Black Series news I see from Hasbro? Is it odd timing that Hasbro announces their Obi-Wan Kenobi Disney Plus show Battle Damage Darth Vader within a week of Bandai announcing theirs? But still a week before the S.H. Figuarts goes up for pre-order? Ooh, tricksy Hasbro's. But like I said, the last few Black Series Vaders are no slouches. And here, with the battle damaged head, you can see Anakin poking through. That looks amazing. The damage to the chest box. The up and down hinges on some weapon wielding hands. It just comes down to personal preferences and how much money you want to spend on a Darth Vader. There's options. You have your import. That is more. That gives you the unbattled. And I think that's why I'm leaning that direction, because it's a good looking Darth Vader that I can use on any shelf. And if I want to, I can swap out, put the battle damaged Anakin head on. Here, it's just that. But for this price, you can go back and get the previous Darth Vader and have both of them together for the same price. Again, it's just what you want to do. It's some bread, it's some butter, you put them together. It doesn't matter how much bread and butter you stack up. It's still bread and butter. Then there's Commander Appo, again from Obi-Wan Kenobi. So, he's not going to look like the version from Clone Wars. It's his Revenge of the Sith Kenobi show look. And I hate to say it, but I'm still way behind on Clone Wars. So I didn't know that Appo was a tribute to Appa from Avatar: The Last Airbender. Baker and Filoni worked on that show too, so that explains the arrow on the forehead because of Aang. But apparently he was promoted to commander after Rex took off with Order 66. So he took on a more generic 501st look. So basically, this is an upgraded 501st Clone Trooper. You can use it as Appo, or you can use it as just a regular clone. But I'm also way behind on my clone knowledge, so there may be a marking, or the shade of blue is a little lighter, something that throws it off somehow. But to me, it's a good looking clone. But I don't know how much army building is going to go on, because Vader and Appo both are Target exclusives. And when it comes to Target exclusives, I can only hope for the best. That's not all from Star Wars though. Woohoo! Just a few hours ago, Bandai revealed their S.H. Figuarts Mandalorian and Grogu. What is going on? So, do I already own this figure? What is going on? From the description, this seems to be Mando from Season 3, which, in the grand scheme of things, didn't really change his clothes much from Season 2. But Bandai is touting this as an all-new sculpt, and like we've done several times this episode, side by side, you can see the differences. Wrinkles are in different places, the armor bits are spaced out a bit more. He can now hold the Darksaber with both hands because of updated articulation. In the show, I think it was just more wear and tear since some time had passed, and that's represented nicely here. There's more paint scuffs and chips and washes than the first 3. Has there been 3? Early Season 1, the rest of Season 1, Season 2. Yeah. Yeah, this is the 4th one. Plus the metallics are more metallic-y. Some of the colors are darker, while some are lighter. And then there's a wired cape. So overall, this is an upgrade, improvement over the last few that came off kind of cartoony. Kind of plain. Still nice. S.H. Figuarts lovers, don't get me wrong. Well, did I have a problem with the arm on the first one? Look, it's pretty. It's more Star Wars-y overall, I guess you could say. Plus, it comes with a water bottle, so he can prove that he went to the living waters. Grogu makes his 3rd appearance in the series, and again, this looks better than previous versions, but I think this is an SHF Emperor situation. The solicitation lists 2 heads, one serious, one smiling, and then 2 bodies, one standing, one sitting. That's cool. Options. Woo! But does that mean that there's one set of arms you swap between the figures? Maybe the collar piece? Just a couple of tiny pieces of plastic away from giving us 2 full-on figures? Not quite the full-on kick to the crotch that the Emperor was, where it was just a hood, but this is more like grazing. You look at it, it's, oh, that wasn't so bad. Oh, wait a second. Oh, now it's hurting. It's hurting bad. On top of that, this isn't up for pre-order either. It's going up the same day as the Obi-Wan Kenobi show Darth Vader and the Flash Michael Keaton Batman. That is a lot of money going out to pre-orders at the same time, especially if they release all at the same time. And that's it for this week. The heat's getting to me. If I started sweating in the middle of that, I apologize, but I'm only human. Why am I apologizing for sweating? Just because I get excitable when I'm talking about action figures? Is that embarrassing? Hell no. Y'all know me by now. I love this stuff. So no matter what happens, we can always get together, talk about some toys. In the summer heat, in the cold of winter, the seasons in between. This is Arkansas, so there's not a lot of seasons in between. We go directly from 100 degrees to 30. Okay, maybe there's a week or two here and there, but yeah.